In studio, I'm joined by Dr. Shamrat Shah from the MedHill Consultant, and of course on internal medicine. He's a physician. And the other day it was just about, on Wednesday 26th, was about day put aside for drug abuse and trafficking. He's a physician and he's seen it all. By the time he sits here, trust me, the implications, he deals with people who have catastrophic consequences of what they've used. And trust me, it's been very, very detrimental to their health. Good morning, Doc.
Good morning.
Good to see you here.
Yeah.
Drug abuse and trafficking the other day, yes, the UN pulled that aside to the 6th of June. And as it is, so much is happening. But as someone who's in the field, a physician, and you've dealt with all these situations, how is it on the ground so far?
It's actually pathetic on the ground. When you actually see the real scenario, we see every day at least 2 or 3 kids coming to us who are having drug abuse, who are intoxicated with drugs. And then they come to us and they are in a pathetic state. You see their heart rate is shooting up, they have loss of coordination of themselves, they are in euphoric state, they don't understand what's happening, they are hallucinating. Every day 2 or 3 kids we see, 2 or 3 in one hospital. So just imagine how would be the situation across the country.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that to those teenage kids, especially in that age group of adolescents. We see a maximum kids coming in that adolescence with drug abuse and drug intoxication. We first need to understand what is the reason behind this. Why is drug abuse on so much high talks? Why are we talking so much about drug abuse? Why is it so much a big problem on the ground levels? What are the reasons why the children are going for drug abuse? See, there are so many implications. When we talk to kids, when we talk to adolescent kids who come to the hospital, when we start counseling them, we get to know that there are so many issues on the ground levels that have been not sorted out, because of which they are going for drug abuse. The most common thing what I have seen here in this part of the world is they talk about the stress what they have in the schools. They talk about the stress they get from parents. Mostly there are 2 types of stress from the families. One, either the parents want the kids to be superior than what they are. Because they could not do anything, they are forcing the kids that they should be something better. Other level what we see is the parents are very good to do. I have seen so many kids who come and they say that my parents are very good to do. They are doing so much of hard work. I am not up to their mark. And that stress starts building up in them that I have to reach to that level. When they are actually not able to do that, and then they lose the track. Instead of going in a right way, they start going for drug abuse. What this drug abuse does is it gives you a euphoric state, it gives you a excitement feeling and urge feeling, because of which you start doing the drug abuse. And how do you go for drug abuse? What normally happens is you take the drug, you feel excited, you feel euphoric, then the next time you want to do it again. But what happens is next time the same dose won't help you. Because brain has such receptors that the same level of drug quantity will not help you. Then you try to take a bit more. Next time a bit more, a bit more. Then you start becoming dependent on that. From drug abuse it turns to drug addiction. From drug addiction they land up with so many troubles of health issues. It's becoming so much of burden on health. Forget about the part of having just the drug abuse and coming in intoxication to us. We see every day so many patients who are not in the level of intoxication, but they also come to us with infertility, which is one of the major reasons because of drug abuse. We see patients coming to us with lot of mental issues. We see patients coming to us with having depression, psychosis, hallucinations, not just these diseases, heart diseases, lung diseases, cancers. There are so many, there are endless diseases wherein we see all of them are because of drug abuse. And when we talk about drug abuse, it's not just about 1 or 2 compounds. There are so many compounds now available in this country also, wherein they are going in for drug abuse. So it's a big issue. We need to focus on each and every component of the drug issues. The most important part would be the families.
Okay. Now, you've touched on a very important aspect of just development, the family. You see sometimes with our schedule, you'll find that parents are not always available. Because they are out there trying to look for that daily bread, something to put on the table. But now they kind of lose a grip on how to discipline their kids, on how to maybe take care of the kids. It's always an extreme sport, just trying to find out where they are. And The society has become a very toxic place because now even you never know where they are, who they're hanging out with. Now, looking at the parenting, you think the current state of parenting has actually maybe gone down or it's wanting?
Yeah. Actually, I would say parenting has not gone down. They don't have time. That's the basic problem.
Yeah.
Because there are so many issues. One, either both the parents are working.
Yeah.
Two, either both are separated. There are broken families, which also causes to drug abuse. Three, the families are together, but there are a lot of stress in the family because of socioeconomic status, issues in the family. There are so many things, and all these things, they affect the child growth a lot. You know, the biggest thing, like the fear of God. We don't kill anyone because of fear of God. We don't do wrong things because of fear of God.
Yeah.
You know, 2 plus 2 is 4 because these things are fixed in our mind.
Yeah.
I think that is the thing which should be done to the kids also. Right from kindergarten, it should be fixed in their mind that drug abuse is bad.
Yeah.
The schools right from kindergarten should start training. The parents should know first themselves what is drug abuse. The biggest trouble is the parents themselves don't know what are the drugs available.
Yeah.
They don't know what are the effects. They don't know how to identify the kid is having a drug abuse. When we talk to the families, whenever we get up a child, we first talk to the families. We first try to understand how much knowledge they have about this. Most of the times we get to know that they don't know.
Yeah.
What are the signs, what are the symptoms. When you yourself don't know that these are the signs, when you see in your kids that this is the time I have to check whether he's having a drug abuse, how are you going to check?
And something else also, let me cut you short. Protective parents, whereby you don't want to accept that this kid is actually spoiled.
Yeah.
Whereby he or she might be arrested for doing something, for actually beating someone, arrested, but still, you're trying to be very protective. You're trying to cover him or her from something the society kind of depicts as ill. Do you think parents are also to be blamed here? Because even we are finding situations where somebody is drug abusing, but still the family is very protective, though they don't know the repercussions.
Yeah. See, it's a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
Having too much of protection can be a good thing or a bad thing also. When you try to too much do a protection to the child, when you try to impose too many things in the child,
Yeah.
they may instead go in a wrong way because that particular teenage, the brain is not that well developed to understand
Yeah.
what is right
Yeah.
and wrong.
Yeah.
So they just want to do something which is not right. They just want to break the law.
Sure.
That is the age which makes them to break the law. So too much of protection can be harmful in the sense that they will try to do something which is wrong. Or too much of liberty can also be wrong.
Sure.
What is the best thing is the parents should start discussing about these things with the children. That is more important. You should be open to the society.
Sure.
Unless and until you are not open to the society, you will not discuss. You will not get positive talks. You will not get positive attitude from people. If you try to be too protective and keep the child away from all these things, it's not going to help.
Sure.
The parents are definitely to be blamed for this. But sometimes we see the parents sitting and blaming the school teachers.
Yeah.
They say that we are not seeing the kids, the school teachers are supposed to see. Definitely school teachers are going to see the kids, but it is their responsibility also to understand what is drug abuse.
Okay.
Both of them play an important role in the development of drug abuse and prevention of this.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Now, as a physician, you've talked about handling so many young people who have gone through these stages. And you see, at the end of the day, you must tell someone about the situation where, for example, a parent comes in, you have to explain what's happened to their kids. But now some of them are shocked. How do you manage to convey this message, and how's the reaction? Because their reaction will tell you if they know something about it or not.
Yeah. See, I'll tell you, most of the times when they come to us, when we talk to parents, most of the times they know that this is the situation. But sometimes they are shocked that they don't know what's happening to them. In that particular point of time, we don't suddenly go and talk to them.
Yeah.
We cannot suddenly give a shock news that your child is a victim of drug abuse and drug addiction. What we need to do is we start counseling them. We first talk to them. Do you have any idea about what's happening to the kids? Do you know where she goes, where the child goes, who are the friends, what's happening to them? And then slowly we start counseling them. Because parents are mature enough at that point of age. They understand. And then we start counseling them. We teach them first what they need to know. The signs and symptoms, what you should know, what treatment you need to give. We convince the parents first and then try to talk to the kids so that they are also convinced. We convince the parents to be open about the discussion with the kids. Unless and until the parents are convinced, you cannot convince the child.
Yeah. Okay. Now, looking at treatment, there's some people who opt for rehabilitation centers, the people who opt for treatment, some people even go all the way to counseling, therapies. But as a physician, when you maybe kind of meet a very serious problem where there's a mental issue, there's also some, even like the central nervous system has been tampered a little bit, and you feel like this person is not stable, what's always the first thing you do?
Yeah. So the first thing is we have to detoxify them. If they come in acute intoxication, in the sense they have taken a lot of drug and they come with sudden onset of agitation or euphoric state, we first assess what all problems are there. First thing we do is save the kid. You save the life first, detoxify them. Detoxification does not mean that you are free from drug abuse. We first detoxify them, get them, stabilize them, because most of the drugs, they accelerate your heart rate. They affect your heart, they affect your mental state. So first stabilize them, detoxify them, and then is the part wherein we start the next mode of treatment. Once you stabilize the kids, when they are conscious, when they are aware of the surrounding, when they are in coordination with everything, then is the time we start behavior therapy. Behavior therapy includes so many things. It includes counseling, it includes medications. There are so many things. We start with behavior therapy. After that we go for medications. There are so many medicines which will avoid you for getting that urge of taking the drugs. Not everything has it, but some drugs definitely have it. So we start on medications. Then there are some devices which have been approved by US FDA, which can be used to reduce the de-addiction, to reduce the craving. And then the most important part is regular follow-up. Drug abuse treatment is not that easy. The parents and the kids should understand that it is the most difficult task. It is time consuming. It takes a lot of money. The most important thing, you should have patience. It takes a lot of patience, because when you reach to a certain level of drug addiction from de-addiction, there are high chances that you may go back to de-addiction again. So long-term follow-up is required for these kids.
All right, let's take a short break. When we come back now, we'll talk about the issue of cravings. That's the biggest thing. Once it's been taken care of, trust me, you won't go back where you used to be. So when you come back, cravings, trafficking, and of course, just the physician himself in the studio will be telling us how now, as a family unit, you can actually handle this debacle of drug abuse. So we're coming to you after a short break. Okay, welcome back to Morning Live, and let's now focus on the cravings, because now this is where, when that alcohol intake is kind of inhibited, just to make sure that it's managed well, I believe there might be a progress in it. Not only alcohol, even other stuff that is being abused out here. And Doc will be telling us more about this, and I'll remind you, we're having Dr. Samrat Shah from the medical consultant on internal medicine. He's here with us, talking about the drug abuse debacle in Kenya and even across the region, which is kind of very detrimental, and also the family unit should understand this. Now back to conversation. Let's focus on the cravings. How do you manage now to control all this?
See, craving, to manage craving, first thing is you should be self-motivated. You should have that inner feeling that, no, I want to stop this now. That is the most important thing. Unless and until you are self-motivated, no drug is going to help you. Because what happens is, why they have craving, we should first try to understand why they have craving. They take alcohol, let's take an example of alcohol. They take alcohol, they are taking it every day. Suddenly the moment you stop alcohol, alcohol is a CNS depressant. Your nerves become hyper excited and you start getting palpitations, you start getting tremors, there are so many things happening to you. And then to avoid these things, you want to take alcohol again. You want your brain to be depressed all the time. So what we need to do is, we need to depress the brain with other medicines and slowly reduce the level of depression. So to avoid craving, what we do is, we start them on medicines, we self motivate them, give them a behavior therapy. Once they are self motivated, there are various stages of motivation.
Yeah.
Once they are self motivated, once they reach to the stage of self motivation, we start them on some tablets.
Okay.
Now these tablets, they affect your brain and they they don't send the signals of craving.
Okay.
There are some neurotic signals which are sent in the brain which make you have craving.
Yeah.
So we are reduce those signals. So there are medicines which can be used for alcohol addiction also, which can be used to reduce the craving for alcohol. There are medicines which can be used even for opioids, opium poisoning, heroines, all these things they have medicines.
Yeah.
When we talk about smoking, we have nicotine patch, we have nicotine gums which can be used to avoid craving.
Okay.
There are some devices also which have been generated now, which are being connected behind your ear, and they send signals to the brain which reduce the amount of craving. I am just talking in a simple term so that you understand. So there are so many ways now. It was not possible few years down the lane, but today it is possible. Yeah.
Okay. Now back to our society, and when you look at the levels of class, you know, at the end of the day, you know, there's that society where societal welfare whereby you feel like you need to belong in a certain group, group A, group B. But let's just openly say the rich kids out here, and trust me, statistics show that the rich kids are the most abusers of drugs. Is it?
Yes, true.
Absolutely.
Very true.
So the rich kids abusing drugs out here, do you think there might be something wrong? Because also the headlines out here, not mentioned to many, but even our politicians, their sons and daughters, they're the culprits. They're suffering big time. What's your opinion about this?
We see so many people like this. Okay, the biggest thing is, as you said, being too much protective. Rich kids having exploited, doing all these things, they don't come out. You don't usually see this on news. What you usually see on the ground level is, the low socioeconomic status, the poor kids, they are doing this, but it's not the fact. We see so many rich kids because they have everything in hand. They have money in pockets, they have cars, they have everything which is not to be given at that particular age. Imagine a teenage guy going to a school in a car. He has his own car, he has a lot of money in the pocket, which is not right. When you have money at that particular age, you want to explore because you have money. Especially social medias, we see so many things, movies, TVs, which talk so many things about drugs, and then you feel like, no, this is the class. The wrong impression what the kids get is, yes, smoking is a class, alcohol is a class, which is not true, because they see parents doing it. Parents drink alcohol at home. The rich kids, they have families who are drinking at home. So because of that, the kids also want to do that. You won't believe, there are so many studies which prove that rich kids are 3 times more prone to have drug abuse and drug addiction than the poor ones, because they have everything in life. They want to break the laws. Their thoughts are like that. They want to break the laws, they want to explore things, they want to see the social life. They go to pubs, they drink, you get alcohol so frequently, so easily. That's the big trouble.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Now, looking at their parents, we talked about this a while ago. They're not sometimes aware of what's happening on the ground, and they come. It's always a rude awakening when they realize their sons and daughters have been admitted in hospital for intoxication. Not only intoxication, but excess intoxication. Also, there's a reaction of these parents who come in and just look at their kids.
Most of the times, what we see is they try to protect. They try. So if they are rich people, they try to somehow close that matter. They don't want this to come out. If they are poor kids, they are shocked, and they don't have money because the treatments are expensive. And it's a long-term follow-up. They don't have money. So both the ends, there are troubles. One end, you don't have money. They are shocked. They want to save their kids. The other end, they want to save the society. They want to save their image in the society. Both the ends, they are prime. So what we need to do is, the parents should be open about this. That's the first thing they need to do. They need to accept the facts that yes, this is there, and then they should start thinking, how do we solve this? Rather than thinking of how to save this from the society, you should think how to open it out, how to discuss about this. In fact, you should be more open about the discussion so that the other kids don't do it. Because your kid has done it, it does not mean that you should close it and don't allow the others. You should be open about it, talk to other kids and tell them, see, this is wrong. You need not do this. The first thing I feel is the parent should know what are signs and symptoms. Like when your kids, they are doing very good in school, suddenly they stop dropping in their school studies. That is the point when you should think that yes, there should be something wrong. 2, When the kids which are very calm and quiet suddenly become agitated, they are in the urge of anger, they are in total euphoria, excited, you should think that there is something wrong. When the heart rate goes very high, you should be aware about it. There are so many signs like diarrhea, they have palpitations, kids starts complaining that they are getting palpitations, they become nervous, they have tremors in hands.
Sure.
These are the points when you should be aware that there is something wrong. Kids, parents and the school teachers should work hand in hand. There should be monthly or quarterly meetings with the parents, with the counselors, with the psychologist, psychotherapist in the schools itself to discuss about these problems. Especially the teachers in the schools, they should also be aware about the signs and symptoms, because they easily get to know the kid which was doing very good in the school suddenly starts dropping down in the school. They see the kids in the schools all the time. So they should be aware about these things. There should be health checkups every quarterly or every once in 6 years or once in a year at least you should have a health checkup wherein these kids are screened for everything. And especially those kids, when the teachers say that there is something wrong with these kids, we can screen them for drug abuse. We have tests which can do. There are drug abuse panels which we can test, so that we get to know at least what is wrong with them.
Absolutely.
There are so many ways we can tackle these things. Family should be proactive. They should be talking positive at the family. Parents should be strict about teaching positive things to the kids. That is most important things.
Okay. Now, the cost of treatment, you know, when you talk about detox, when you talk about even kind of just giving, trying to reduce the cravings, you know, the cost implications here. So we've talked about social classes, very different. Sometimes it's difficult for some quarters to afford that. But maybe at Medhill where you operate, how do you manage this? So first a patient walks in, you've identified the problem, so what next?
See, it depends upon what kind of stage the patient is. Like if the patient is having a chronic drug abuse, not in the stage of addiction, then we can talk to them. On OPD basis, you can do the behavior therapy, you can call the psychiatrist, psychologist, counseling we can do. Then it is not very expensive. Only thing is you need to come for a long term follow up, but it does not become very expensive. You can call the family, discuss with the family, on OPD basis you do it. But sometimes you need to keep them under observation for more than 24 hours. You need to admit them, you need to detoxify them. When they come in the stage of addiction, you have to admit them. Then the cost implication goes high. So many times, even after detoxification, you need to admit them just for observation and to avoid their craving. So it's a long term process. Each of these stages depends upon what stage the kid is coming to us, what kind of addiction they have. So every drug has a different protocol. Every stage has a different protocol. Exactly.
Okay. Now, when you talk about the government, you know, the Kenyan government has, of course, it formed NACADA some time back to fight all these issues of drug abuse and everything. Trafficking has been also a thing that has been a very big, actually, concern. But trying to look at availability of these drugs, you know, you sit down with patients, and I understand there's a process of trying to question how available the products are for them. So how do you find that? Because now when you talk about availability, it means, of course, you mentioned they have money, they have their sources, some call them peddlers, and all these things. So how do you how's the feedback when you ask them about how they get these things, how available they are?
The most common answer what we get is, one kid, he wants to give it to the other kid in the school. It's usually the chain. Someone, a spoiled cat is there in the school, he uses it, he has his friends, he forces their friends to do it, and then the friends become victim. Then they form a group, and the group starts doing it. When you see the group starts doing it, I have seen one adolescent kid. He was so much excited seeing that group that he wanted to do it. As I told you, that age, the brain is not that well developed to understand what is right, what is wrong, what you need to do, what you need not to do. So seeing that group, he somehow wanted to be a part of that group. And that's how it spreads from one person to another.
Curiosity comes in.
Yes, the curiosity comes in you, that no, I want to try. See them, they are so aggressive, they are so excited, they are having euphoria. I'm not having it. I want to be a part of that group. These tendencies what you get, that makes you to somehow find the ways, and you see it's very easy to find a negative way rather than a positive way. It's very easy to get spoiled rather than be a good kid. So they somehow find the ways to get the drugs. And Kenya is a transit country. You know this.
Yeah.
There is a lot of transit happening all the way from Thailand, India, Pakistan.
Yeah.
From there are so many drugs being transported, and
Yeah.
being a transit country, you see so many drugs coming to the airport. We see so many news having found heroin, opium, drugs, so many things found there.
Yeah. You know, porous borders,
Yes.
airports, and all those places. Yeah.
The best feel, I think, is the government of Kenya, Tanzania, Uganda
Yeah.
should collaborate together, have a drug squad, discuss among each other, and become more strengthening, so that they find out these localities where they are illegally sold and cut them off.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, side effects. You know, you've talked about maybe let's say the CNS, that's central nervous system. Mostly, it's affected. You know, as we are growing up, as young people are growing up, you know, at the end of the day, some people the myopism kind of comes in, and they think that they'll be young forever. But looking at the old age, it's really knocking very fast. People are kind of growing every day. Every year is a new chapter, and guys are growing old. And sometimes we see these impacts or the side effects later on in your years.
Yes.
And from vision, from even concentration. So some people even have cochlear implants that they have to maybe boost their hearing and all those things. The speech kind of just kind of gets lost at some time. You are 40, but you are already kind of feeling very weak. You know, they say life begins at 40, but at 40 you're feeling very weak, feeble. You can't do so many things. Some people actually, it's detrimental to their human capital to an organization. So side effects, the longevity of this whole scenario.
Yeah. See, I can give you 100 diseases from head to tail which are because of the drug abuse. Let's talk about central nervous system. Central nervous system, it affects your memory, it affects your coordination, it affects your speed. The worst thing what I have seen is they lack the coordination between the speed, their distance calculation. Just imagine, you don't know what speed I am going, you don't know what distance I am going.
It's true, it's true.
You land up with accidents, you land up with so much of breaking law, you kill someone, you become agitated, your memory is hampered, your brain coordinations are lost, you start having shakiness, you start having ataxia, you are not able to stand, you lose your memory so early. You see, we are seeing at the age of 40s, we are seeing having memory loss, which is very common nowadays, that people come to us and say that I am not remembering things. It's all because of alcohol abuse, it's because of drug abuse. Coming to heart diseases, we see so many heart failures.
It's so funny because some people come in, I forgot about it. You know, my memory is kind of very. It's actually drug abuse.
Yes.
Okay.
Alcohol abuse affects your cerebellum.
Yeah.
When the cerebellum starts degenerating, you start getting ataxia. You're not able to stand. You start losing your memory. The short-term memories are lost. The worst thing is what you did today morning, you don't remember. So we have seen patients coming at the age of 40s. With dementias.
Wow.
Dementias is actually not the age of 40. It should come after the 60s. But young onset dementias are very common. They are very because of alcohol abuse, they are because of drug abuse and drug addictions. Very common.
Wow. At 40?
Yes.
Interesting. Doc, your last sentiments before you just wind this up.
Parents should be aware about this. Schools should be proactive. Have a health checkup regularly at the schools. Parents should implement the positive things. Right from kindergarten, the syllabus should include the harmful effects of drug effects. Whenever possible, open up and come to the hospital and discuss about it. That's the best thing.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you very much for coming, Doc. Really appreciate your sentiments today. And I've also learned some aspects of everything and how you deal with these patients. It's never easy as a medic, I understand, but you're doing a good job. Thank you so much for coming.
Thanks a lot.
All right. So about Harambee Stars, yes, we had given you a tease on how they actually managed to dismantle neighbors Tanzania, but be sure to join Abul Ahmed at 1 p.m. for Switch 168 at the Huri, where he'll give us more details, action about just Harambee Stars, how they did it. The match ended 3-2. Right now, we are taking a short break. When we come back, we'll be talking to more people about just what's happening in society and a recording we had earlier. So keep it Morning Live.